Hey everybody, welcome to training module number 3. This is on listening. There's certain modules I'm gonna encourage you to listen to more than once to kind of refresh your memory on certain things. This is definitely one of them. The listening skill is one that's not only going to help you tremendously as a Stephen minister, but in just life in general with your kids, your spouse, your boss, coworkers. This is going to be one that's going to benefit you greatly. So I would encourage you to watch it more than once and go back and refresh your memory on occasion. Start with Roman numeral 1, our listening God. What does God do when He's in heaven? What is his day to day? If you will, I know that sounds weird, but one of the main things He does is listen. You know, He models that. He models everything for us, including listening. If you think about it, it's got to be a big part of what He does. He's listening to our prayers. You know, our prayers of intercession, our praise. You know, our laments. When we're angry at God, you know, everything He's listening to what we're doing. And so again, He kind of models for us what we are to do as well. In listening, I know sometimes it's easy to check out quickly when you talk about listening. It's like, okay, yeah, listening, I'm an active listener, got it, move on. But I'm going to ask you to pause at this moment and really open your spirit and your mind to allow God to give you a deeper definition of what listening is about and to a more full and complete version of what it's about. Because active listening is more than just I'm sitting here listening to you. You know, it's a much deeper communication than that. So please allow God to really give you a deeper, stronger understanding of not only what active listening is, but the impact it's having on the person you're with, the person speaking. It's an opportunity for you to really grow as a Stephen minister. The deeper you get into this, the better you get at listening. I think the more you're going to serve your care receiver. So one of the things I want to talk about is one of your biggest challenges as a Stephen minister is not to try to fix and give advice. And you're probably going to fight this from day one, because especially if something your care receiver is going through is something you've gone through. Because through caring, you know, you want to say, hey, you know what worked for me? I did this, and this. Don't do that, you know. They're eventually going to figure out what they need to do, and down the road that might be something you want to do, but in a very careful setting. You don't want to just be, what we're doing here is we're praying with people, we're listening, and on some level we're helping them process. We're not there to fix what's going on. As I've stated before, with deep, wounding kind of crises, you're not going to fix them in a day. This is something that's a long-term process. So you have to really fight the urge to jump in and say, well, all you got to do is this. Well, that's not helpful even a little bit, you know, especially when you're building trust in that stage with your care receiver. They need to know that they can talk and that they can kind of fill the room up with their discussion and not have to anticipate you kind of hacking them off at some point. To know that they can sit back and you can really talk. Because how often is it that we can really feel like we can just talk everything out, you know, in our lives? Because usually we're in a conversation, we've got to consider, well, we've got to stop here, or we've got a meeting, I've got to keep my comments to this level. So I've found it extremely healing and just peaceful to be able to know that I can just talk, you know, when I'm having a discussion with my wife, when I know that when she is really just sitting back, truly listening to me and letting me talk as long as I want, she's not waiting to jump in and get her point in. I feel it's really honoring, first of all, and it's also just an ability. I find that I'm able to get everything out, and by the end of the discussion, I feel heard, and I'm in a much better place than to listen myself, you know. So that's something to really keep in mind, that you feel like you're not doing anything by listening. Like, well, I could be jumping in here and giving him some really great advice. Don't do that. listen and know that that's exactly what they need right now, and that you actually are doing a great deal and you're providing a great service for them. So make sure that you're very cognitive of not jumping in and giving advice, and that you're not sitting there thinking about your next comment while they're talking. All you're doing is listening. Okay, it's an essential piece of your role as a Stephen minister, and just know that God is working through you in this act of listening. All right, Roman numeral 2. May I have your attention, please? We're going to skip this exercise, but I want to summarize it. Basically, it's the message that it wants to communicate is that listening is not just with your ears; it's with your whole body. Okay, so even if I'm listening to you, but I'm looking around, I'm just kind of distracted, that's number one, dishonoring and disrespectful to whoever's speaking. But even if you are really listening, it still doesn't. It's not going to communicate that to the other person. So when you listen, there's a couple things that are going to be essential. One is you need to sit up, lean forward a little bit, not too much. You also don't want to be so aggressive that you're, making them feel uncomfortable in terms of intensely listening. You want to lean back or lean forward just a little bit to where shows you're paying attention. Good eye contact, okay? Again, you don't be slouched off and kind of, okay, you don't want that. You want to be able to focus on what they're saying. Sit up. Don't cross your legs. Don't tap your legs. Don't look at your watch. None of those things. If you're one of those folks that's just kind of shiny object and ADD and all I can say is don't be. I wish I can give you better counsel, but don't do that. Don't be that, because that will not engender trust to your care receiver. So again, just good body language, good eye contact, relaxed body, but to show that you're listening. Okay. Roman number 3, listening facts quiz. This is really an excellent quiz. So I want you to take it on your own, and then we're going to go over the answers in class. And we're going to use those answers as a really good discussion point, because it really does flesh out a lot of the really important elements of what it is to be an active listener. So again, take that on your own outside of class. And when you get to class this week, we're going to discuss all the answers. I'm going to give you the answers, and we're going to unpack them. Going to give plenty of time to each question. Reflective listening exercise, that's Roman numeral number 4. We are going to do that one in class as well. That basically involves, you're going to break up into groups of 3. Somebody's going to be someone who's sharing, someone's going to be the listener, someone's going to be the observer. And it's just a good opportunity to start walking out active listening. So again, we're going to do that in class this week as well. So then jumping ahead to, we're going to jump forward to Roman numeral number 7, listening to God. Again, everything that we're doing, we're trying to not only look at within the context of your care receiver, but we're looking toward how it affects our relationship with God as well. Because remember, as a Stephen minister, you're not just giving. This is an excellent opportunity for you to grow in your faith, to go deeper with God. And so listening is not just something you can do with someone who's your care receiver or any other member of your life, but it's to God as well. One of my prayers is always that God, let me hear your voice louder than any other. And so it's no different with God. In terms of our listening, we can also be better listeners to God, and that's shutting down so much of the noise that we have. And the clearer we hear God, think about how that impacts your life, that you're able to implement the things that He wants you to implement, okay? That you're able to hear His words of love to you, So being a better listener to God is especially important. So one of the best ways we can grow our relationship with God is to listen to Him. So we're going to look at the exercise on Roman numeral number 7, and it's this. In focus note number 5, it lists out 4 different passages. So pick one of those passages and then read them and then answer the questions at the end of the focus note, which is what content is God sharing? What feeling is God sharing? What spiritual concerns is God sharing? And so listen to that. Listen to anything else He wants to share. What else is God telling you in this? And I want you to do this on your own, because I want you to find a nice, quiet spot to do this in. I found that just in a classroom setting, it can be distractive. People feel like they're under the gun to get it done. Take your time, read this on your own, and then journal what God kind of shared with you during that passage. And then in class, I'm going to have some of you share that. Okay. So that wraps up training module 3 with listening. So obviously on this module, we're going to do a lot of stuff in class that I think is going to really help to drive home the point of listening. And I'm praying that as we go through this, and as you eventually get your care receiver, that you start to develop a much more intimate and deep understanding of what being an active listener is. And I think it won't just deepen your ability to serve your care receiver, it'll deepen your faith as well. So thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you soon.